Hello, welcome again to the SEGA Mega Master Show. Today we have here with us Rick, who's a SEGA Mega Masters regular. He's one of our panelists, and he wasn't able to join us on the introduction show. So we're just going to do a quick little introduction with him today so you can get to know him a little better. So hello, Rick.
Hello, my name
Thank you
is
very
Rick.
much. So tell us then, Rick, how did you get into SEGA, mate?
So when I first got into Sega, it was about 1989 when Sega Genesis first came out in the United States. By that time, I was already a pretty big Nintendo fan. I'd been playing it since it had came out since about 1985, I think, about 4 or 5 years. So there weren't very many really big successful consoles out at that time, and uh, at that particular time, Nintendo, the NES was probably the most popular system in the United States, and I was already a big fan of that. So when the Genesis came out, there was a pretty extensive advertising campaign, and I was already reading some of the magazines and stuff, and I noticed the advertisements for the Genesis and 16-bit revolution and all that, and it seemed pretty enticing, boasting arcade graphics at home, and that was pretty intriguing to me at the time. And me and my friends were talking about it, and we were all interested in getting the new system. And I remember getting a job at McDonald's. It was my first job,
Right.
so that I could have enough money to afford a Sega Genesis. That was fun. And when the Genesis came out, I have to say that it just absolutely toppled the Nintendo as far as being king of the entertainment in my house. Um, my I was one of the first. I wasn't the first of my friends to have a Sega Genesis, but I was like the second or something like that. And pretty soon, most of my friends had one, and we would go to each other's houses and just play video games and just have marathons. And it was great. It was during my formative years, probably mid to late teens. So I was a maturing gamer, and I was already kind of done with the kind of, I don't know. It seemed like geared toward the younger audience was most of the Nintendo software that was out. So Sega was a breath of fresh air to me, and it was edgy and had violence and action, and I think they really delivered on that promise of bringing the arcade experience to the home. Playing games like Altered Beast, Golden Axe, games that were some of my favorites in the arcade, and I was finally able to play them at home as much as I want, uh, without having to continuously pump quarters into the machine. So that was really great, and it's been my favorite console ever since. And
Nice.
I would consider myself a modern gamer, so I play the modern systems as well. But I'll always go back to the Sega Genesis. That's my comfort zone.
What percentage of your time would you say that you spend on the Genesis compared to modern systems, mate?
Uh, Throughout the years and maybe up to currently, I would say it's more than half,
Yeah,
more than
good,
half the time.
nice.
I can't
That's a
say
good point.
Yeah, I don't think I could say that I spend most of my time playing that because I do enjoy the how far technology has come as far as video
Oh yeah.
games is concerned. But yeah, I do spend definitely more of a majority playing Sega Genesis,
Nice,
and
mate.
still discovering games that I never played or had back in those days.
Yeah, yeah. Nice, nice. So what would you say? You were speaking about the edginess and the violence. So is that the main thing that drew you to it, or did other what draws you to it? Drew you to it then, and what draws you to Sega now, mate?
Well, I just think that some of these video game companies have just a way of whitewashing and sanitizing their content and watering it down and softening the edges of it so it's this less violent, I guess, less gory. But back in the day, when Mortal Kombat came out and it was on the Sega Genesis, that game had the blood code, and for the first time at home, we were playing arcade style games with violence and gore and all that fun stuff.
It's basically the like you say, it's the edginess in it. It's the I guess when you compare Sega, especially Nintendo, it's a different breed, and it's what the everybody knows that one we're geared towards teenagers and teen adults, and the other geared towards young kids, really. So yeah,
Well,
no, that
I
makes a
think
lot
it
of
was
sense, mate.
yeah, it was all about the target audience, in my opinion. Um,
Yeah.
Nintendo and some other companies, they want to focus toward the younger crowd, but I was becoming a discriminating gamer, and I wanted the action, and I want the big battles and the fight and the destruction and chaos.
I hear you, mate. I hear you, mate. Without a doubt, without a doubt. As great as games like Super Mario World and that are, it's not quite the same as beating the shit out of someone on Streets of Rage, is it? Really? Yeah, we all know that. We all know that.
Oh yeah, most definitely. There's no comparison really, in my opinion. Um, I will take the original Streets of Rage over any game with Mario in it any day of the week. No problem.
Nice one, mate. Nice one. So talking about the actual games themselves, then, mate. What would you say your favourite games are on Sega systems?
Oh, there's just so many to choose from. I could really go on and on about all the games that I like and enjoy on the Sega systems.
Well,
When I think of
give us three. Give us three then.
okay, when it comes to Sega Genesis, some of my favorite games are going to be Golden Axe, which was a timeless classic. We'll always come back to that and its sequels. Played that in the arcade. Was able to play it at home with Sega, and it was amazing to me. That game. How about also Blades of Vengeance?
Thought that
One of
might get
my
a
very
mention.
favorite titles. Yeah. Well, I needed to mention this one because this is a game that one of the games that I did not know about or wasn't aware of back when it was new. And I didn't find out about this game until much later in life. And in my journey of playing games that I hadn't previously played before on Sega Genesis, I was amazed at the quality of this game and the polish and the effort that they put into it. just everything about it, the music, the action, the fact that it's a side-scrolling platformer, which is my favorite genre. It has everything, and it just it, it it rings all my bells. It's the perfect.
You don't have. It is a. I totally agree, mate. I think it's a superb game. And do you have a hard copy of it, buddy?
Uh, yeah, I have it up here. Hold on one second.
There we go. I mean, look at even the box art on that. Normally, Western box art is normally pretty meh, isn't it? But that is fine box art. That. Let's see if we can get it a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit
most
close.
definitely.
There we are.
Nice looking label too on this one.
Great. Like I say, great
I
all round package. Great all round package. And what's your third
actually
choice then, buddy?
So for my third choice, I'm going to go to a different system. I will
Nice.
go back a little bit to the Sega Master System,
Ooh.
which see back. I wish that I had tried the Master System back when I was into Nintendo, because if I had done that, then things might have been a little bit different, and I might have had a somewhat different experience. But in my journey with playing Master System games, I discovered that the port of the arcade game Rastan was
Nice.
just excellent. I mean,
Nice.
the with the constraints that they had and the technology that they had to work with at the time, they brought so many elements of the arcade game to that 8-bit system, and I was really impressed with the job that they did with that game. So that's going to be my third pick of favorite games for Sega. But like I said, we could spend a lot of time going over this subject because there's
Yes,
a lot
mate.
to like.
Yes, mate. No, exactly. But they're three excellent choices, my friend. I can definitely see that you're a lover of side-scrolling action platform-based games, which I mean, and especially the fantasy theme stuffed. So that's I mean, we've got three fantasy themed games there,
Oh
which
yeah,
are all pretty high testosterone, badass games, aren't they?
lot of hack and slash, a lot of violence, a lot of yeah, everything that I want in a video game.
Yeah, good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Well, I mean, that is a great little insight into yourself, Rick. You got any final words for anyone out there at all?
Sure. Um, I think that more people should try the old 16-bit systems like Sega Genesis, and even the 8-bit systems like Master System. If you're a younger gamer and you've grown up with systems like PlayStation and things like that, you should go back a little bit and check out Sega, specifically the Sega Genesis, because there is just so much to love, and uh, I would like to spread that message.
Top lad, brilliant. Well, it's been a pleasure having you again, mate. Lovely stuff. I dare say we will catch you soon on another episode of the Sega Mega Master Show. And look after yourself. I'll catch up with you later, buddy.
Thank you, Dan. Pleasure to
No
be
problem.
here.
Cheers, mate. Sega! Sega!